Hey everyone, my name is Tina and today I'm going to show you a little bit of a flip through of my March monthly layout. This is not a standard bullet journal. I know most people use other actual bullet journal books. This is just a notebook that I had laying around and I wanted to use it up before I moved to a dotted notebook. This one's just lined paper. And the first things I want to show you actually have nothing to do with March. This is my yearly mood tracker and I've only got a couple of moods. If I do this in the future, I'm gonna try to edit those and make them a little bit more inclusive. The next thing I have is my weather tracker, and the reason I keep track of the weather is because I'm working on a temperature blanket, and it's basically just a blanket where I crochet I'll show you. This is a square in the blanket, so each round is a day of the week and the color represents the temperature that day. So the yellow represents the 70s, the blue is the 50s, the green is the 60s, and then this was all 70s the rest of the week. Here's another one that I have done, and this orange represents the 80s. I live in Georgia, so it's probably going to be 70s and 80s for the rest of the spring. And then I have my 2018 goals on the next page. I really didn't include this when I first set everything up, and I didn't set this up until February, which is why I only have February listed down here. But I thought it was important to go back and to add this in just so that I'd had something to look back on. And then I'm not going to show you any of my February spreads, but unless you'd like to see them, and if you do, please leave a comment down below letting me know that you'd like to see what I had set up for February. If not, we'll just go ahead and start with March. So when March came around, I had just heard I Got New Rules by Dua Lipa, so I added a lyric right here. And then I did a cover page with an owl, and the inspiration for this owl was a present that my brother gave me, and it was this magnifying glass owl. It's so cute. And that's why I did that. This was my monthly calendar for March. I included my monthly to-dos. Over here I did April events that I needed to keep track of. I have my April calendar and then also my February calendar just in case I needed to reflect back on that. And down here I have social posts, and I used this to try to plan out what posts on which social media platform I was going to do. I didn't really follow that, and then you'll see in April I didn't even have a monthly calendar like this set up, but I did include my quarter-1 books, the number of books that I read in the first quarter of 2018. It's 7. My goal, if we look back, my goal for reading is to read 52 books, and out of 13 weeks I read 7. I think that's a pretty good goal considering I didn't start until February. And this page right here is just my book challenge. These are the books that I read in March, and then I just went around with all the characters from each book. Over here on this page I have my weekly challenges. Each week I had a different challenge. This first one was decluttering, and then I had minimalistic sleeping, smartphone detox, and complaining challenge. This one was really hard for me to get into, but I kind of tried. Alright, my next page is my habit tracker. Let me turn it so you can sort of see it. There we go. This is my habit tracker. It didn't really get filled out as much as I would have liked for it to. Around here I went on vacation, and then this was spring break, so I didn't exercise that much. I really dropped off on the whole social media. I didn't get a lot of YouTube videos or blog posts up. And then I included this hashtags to avoid section because I was using these hashtags at first on Instagram, and I was wondering why in the world my posts were not showing up. And I read that some of these hashtags are like dead zones basically, and if you have them in your post, then your posts don't show up in the general feed. And then I have this brain dump page for March. So I have just some notes, some doodles, some YouTube and blog ideas, which didn't happen, some poem stuff. This was my first weekly spread in March, and I ended up including a time bar just to try that out. I have my meal tracker here, I have my monthly calendar, and then I have my weekly to-dos and my next week to-dos. And this was part of the cleaning challenge that I did the very first week in March. Obviously I only got a couple of things that I wrote notes on. I did complete that challenge. I just didn't fill out the page. This over here is a job apps tracker. When I started this back in February, I didn't know what my future plans were going to look like. So I was applying to all these jobs, and my last one that I applied to was this summer job in Kentucky, which I'm going to do. And then I'm going to figure out if I want to work in the fall when I come back. This was my second weekly spread, and I kind of changed it up a little bit. I have some daily pages, which it's one daily page, but I just sort of like spaced it out differently. And then I still have my meal tracker. I was tracking my water intake. My goal was 6 8-ounce glasses of water, and I think I did pretty well. I sort of edited this, but I have kept this meal tracker. And then I split up my to-dos. These are not like daily to-dos, these are just like things at a glance that for the week that I need to keep track of. So like my school stuff that I needed to do, my personal stuff I needed to take care of, and the things that I had coming the following week. This was my third weekly spread, and I did something even more different. I have these little boxes, I have my little owl, and then I included a habit tracker 2. It's 2, which is also, but this was just because I knew I wasn't gonna have enough space in these boxes to write all of my to-dos. These are things that I would do every day. So applying to jobs, doing schoolwork, my crochet project, my challenge, how much money I was spending, how much water I was drinking, if I checked my mail or not. And then I included this goal section for the first time. And then you also see I rewrote my challenge so that I had it on this page. Now, this page is only like the spread is only half done because this is the week that I went out of town. So I left town here, didn't come back until Sunday. I really didn't get much done. And then also like there really wasn't anything going on the next week. This was my spring break to-do list, so the things that I was doing when I went out of town, this stuff in reference to summer camp, the things that I had packed to go on spring break, and then I wrote another job apps tracker because I had intended on finishing the first one, which I did not, but I'll probably still use this as I continue to apply for jobs in the fall. My fourth weekly spread is just straight boxes still. I kept my goals section. I added a progress section, and I really didn't accomplish my goals this week because I was just having a rough week. I really didn't do anything. So like my goal here to run a mile, I put you'd feel better if you go out. Like in that moment though, I just was like, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do anything, but like honestly, if I just went outside and exercised a little bit, I probably would have felt better. And then this workout, I haven't done this since that week, and then I just told myself to start over. I did complete this crochet project. I didn't complete it by Sunday, which is what my goal was, but I did end up completing it the next week. And then perfect day habits, that just meant to complete all my habits on my habit tracker, and I put you're just in a funk because like I didn't do anything. And then my complete challenge, I said this was hard to do. I really did not get into the challenge this week. I kept my month, and then I kept my next week spread. I have this little quote, whom then shall I fear? It was based on one of the devotionals that I read, and then I had like a grocery list brain dump kind of right there. This is all of the information pertaining to summer camp, and so I've got all the information. I've got this that I'm going to fill out. I have places that I'd like to go see, things that I still have to finish before I leave. This next spread is my MAT evaluation, which is basically my Master's of Arts in Teaching, which is the program I'm in at school. And I did this so that I would know kind of when I'm going to be student teaching and then when I'm going to graduate, and then like when I need to apply for both of those items. And this is just sort of like my brain dump page for the course of study. This was my last spread in March, my last weekly spread in March. I combined my meal tracker in with my dailies. I really enjoyed this. This was opening week for baseball. Really happy. I wrote down in here like win. I should have put, I did put loss 4-6. I root for the Red Sox, so that's what I kept track of in there. And then I have my goals and my progress. I did a little bit better on this. I still have my next week section. I have my March calendar. I have a brain dump section, and then I have my first poem of April, which says, "It is time to part ways, looking back at the good old days. Such a change is bittersweet. I needed this place like a heart needs to beat. This feeling like a gloomy case of the Mondays." And I named it Moving On, and basically that was just talking about me going to do something else during the summer and not being in the town that I live in. And that is the end of my March spreads. If you guys want to see kind of a flip through of what I've got so far for April, I'd be more than happy to do that. Leave that in the comments below. And then also, if you have any suggestions of themes that you'd like to see in the future, please leave those in the comments as well. If you guys found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!